Hey friends, I wanted to share a short word of encouragement with you. And basically, this is a story about a great evangelist, widely considered to be the greatest evangelist of the 19th century, D.L. Moody. The reason I want to share this with you because it encouraged me to serve. It gave me this understanding that it doesn't really matter what your background is, what your age is, what your financial status is. God is looking for people who will serve. And especially in the times that we live in today, times of social distancing where the economy is partially shut down and there are many needs that are emerging: physical needs, financial needs, emotional, spiritual needs. As the Church of Christ, we are called to encourage one another and to serve, to allow God to use us. So about D.L. Moody, he was born into a very poor family. His dad died when he was 4. Mom was left with 9 children. The creditor literally walked into their home and took all their furniture. He would have taken the house as well, but some laws prevented him from doing that. And so D.L. Moody was had a hard childhood. He had to work at a young age, couldn't get the education he wanted. Always carried that chip on his shoulders. He couldn't read and couldn't write especially very well. But he traveled when he was about 16 or 15 years of age to his uncle's house, which was in another city, and he began to work with his uncle as a salesman. Was very successful, but his uncle said, listen, if you want to work for me, you have to join church and you have to join Sunday school. And that's what he did. And his Sunday school teacher, actually by the name of Edward Kimball, at one day just felt a desire to go to the place where D.L. Moody worked and share the gospel with him one more time. He did that, and D.L. Moody was saved. And things began to change. D.L. Moody started seeing the needs around him. He wanted to do something for people. His love for God was growing, and so was his love for people. And the first thing that he saw was that there was many organizations that needed funding, and this was his dream. This became his goal, to work well as a salesman. He sold shoes and other things, and to make a lot of money, and then to support all these Christian causes. He did that for a while. But then he started noticing children in the streets, dirty, unkept, rowdy children, and he would tell them about the gospel, but he felt like he could have done more. He needed to share with them about Jesus on a bigger scale. And so he came to his church and said, I want to be a Sunday school teacher. They said, listen, we have 12 teachers and 16 students. We need more students. So you bring the students in, you can teach. And that's what he did. He went into the roughest parts of the city and brought back the rowdiest children, and they became his students. Soon his class went from 16 to 60 to 160 to 600 students. And eventually a church was formed. D.L. Moody, by the way, he hadn't preached before that time. He was scared of preaching to people because he didn't really have that education. He was painfully aware of that. But one day, the seminary that was providing students to preach every Sunday failed to provide a student for D.L. Moody's church. And so they're sitting there, him and his friend, and the seminary student isn't showing up. And people are expecting for someone to preach. And so D.L. Moody's friend says, hey, how about you go and preach? D.L. Moody, he walked up, he said a sermon, and from that Sunday, he began to preach every Sunday. Eventually, he began to feel on his heart a desire to actually share the gospel, not just in his church, but in the streets, in all kinds of halls and other places. And so he traveled to Great Britain. He traveled all over America. Thousands and thousands of people were able to hear him speak in different locations. He spoke at prestigious institutions like Cambridge. C.T. Studd actually came to Christ through D.L. Moody. And all this goes to show that God is looking for people that are willing to serve. God is looking for people that have a love for Him and that have a love for other people. And there are needs around us. There are many needs. Perhaps there's someone who is socially isolated, although, and that's wrong, right? We're supposed to be practicing social distancing, but not isolation. Now is the time to perhaps give him a call, a text, to have him join a Zoom cell group of some sort, right? To encourage them. Maybe someone is struggling financially. Now is the time to help, and perhaps you know such a need. Please feel free to reach out to the youth team of SCC, and perhaps we can help in that capacity as well. But let's serve one another. Let's see what the needs are around us, and if we don't see them, let's pray to God and ask Him to help us see, so that we can do something for His glory. I hope to see you very soon. May God bless you.